You're listening to Sudbury News Talk.
I want to show you something.
Stand by. On the morning shift.
Anything
could happen.
Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.
Good morning, Sudbury. Welcome to Sudbury News Talk. Here on the morning shift, I'm AJ Walsh. Thanks for joining us this morning. CKLU 96.7 FM, CKLU.ca. Download the Radio Player Canada app. You can listen to us anytime, anywhere on your favorite device. And on Facebook Live, you can view the show in which we have, visuals going along with what we're talking about, videos, pictures. We'll scroll through some of the top stories here locally and keep you up to date as we try to do each and every day. It's a community conversation, really, is what it is, and it involves you. And you are an integral part of this show because basically I'm just a facilitator, and any of my co-hosts or guests that are on are just basically joining in and co-facilitating a conversation with the community. And we just really enjoy the conversation each and every day. And your comments are more than welcome. And liking and sharing the video and the page is definitely encouraged. And I invite you to do that so that way we can get the word out to as many people as we possibly can here in the community, so that we can have a more robust conversation with more people and have, others, as many others as possible's points of view represented and showcased on the show. And thanks again for being with us. I know a lot of you have been with us since the beginning, and I thank you for that. Welcome to the YouTube and Facebook monitors, as we are on facebook.com/Sudbury News and youtube.com/Sudbury News. And we're just thankful for you being here and doing what you have to do. Thanks for allowing people to like and follow the page. And with that, our YouTube, if you can subscribe, it's something that we don't really do anymore. I'm guilty of this too. You just kind of absorb the content, and until maybe you get to watch it and you really become attached to it, and then you'll like it or share it or follow it or subscribe to it. But this is my kind of heartfelt plea to all of you to go to Sudbury News on our Facebook page. Sudbury News is at facebook.com/Sudbury News or youtube.com/Sudbury News. Like, follow, subscribe, that way, and share it. That way, again, you get to kind of include more people, and more people are included in the conversation, what we're having around issues, events, and things that really matter to us here locally. And thanks to all of those that have participated so far, including Billy and Zach and Dave and Nick and Miles and Pierre and Randy, Pascal. Thank you to all of you for coming on the show and again, contributing and giving of your time. It is volunteer. We are volunteer. We don't make any money doing this. It's our passion. And so we know all of you don't make any money either to come on and participate. So this is what we're doing. We're all working together at this. So having said that, let's get started today. Also, CKLU, in which we are on, is a local campus and community radio station that has been around since 1984. It's mainly volunteer run too. It runs on a shoestring budget from the some of the students, contributing, a very small amount each and every year to it, but it accumulates enough to be able to have us, pay some bills and keep the airwaves on, keep it on and keep the lights on and keep the heat on in the winter. Anyways, so if you'd like to support CKLU, you just have to go to cklu.ca. You hit the donate button or, just support button, and you can make a donation of anything, whatever you're able to do. Or if you have an idea for a show, you can actually come on CKLU. You can pitch your idea to the general manager, Rob Strawn. You email gm@cklu.ca with your idea for a show. And he basically, has a chat with you, and there you go. You got your own show. And that's the important thing about a community radio station, allowing the members of the community to have a voice and do their thing and learn a little bit at the same time. I've learned so much since 2017, April. We started Sudbury News Talk April 1st. On April Fool's Day. So this is a joke we're playing on the community. April Fool's Day, 2017. We just freshly came back from one of our very rare trips as a family. We went down to visit some friends in Arizona. And I remember the lead up to it. We were getting ready. I said, no, I'm going to start my radio show. I'm just going to go in and do it. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm going to go in and I'm going to do it. I love sports. I have a sports background. And I know Sudbury could really use some help in promoting our local sports, and that was it. And after that, I noticed, well, I think there's a gap there talking about local issues as well, and I think sports is also part of it. So let's just talk about news and sports in there. So I think we can do it all within an hour in the morning, and it's the most listened to radio spot there is in the morning as people drive to work. And so we got that. So if we're good enough, or at least we're able to share the information properly, we'll get enough listeners. And now, thanks to the capabilities, affordable capabilities of broadcasting over the internet, we're able to do that as well and have a live stream on Facebook and YouTube. And now you can be a part of the conversation without us having to have a phone line and you call in, or look at the comments just on Facebook. You can just chime right in, and we're able to share your comments here. Not a problem. Well, thanks for sharing that, actually, because that's some of the things that we do here. And we're going to be talking about that today. So stay tuned, because that's exactly what we're going to be talking about. I have a communications, public relations, educational background and a passion for it before that. And so I knew I needed a piece of paper to substantiate some of my, media claims, because people would say, if I had an opinion, well, where'd you get that from? You're not the media. So I do have a piece of paper, and I'm going out there and doing it. I'm not waiting for permission or apply for some of these larger media conglomerates to do stories for them. I just said, hey, I'm just going to do it myself. So I got all the social media domains, Sudbury.news for our website, Facebook Sudbury News, YouTube Sudbury News, Instagram Sudbury News, Twitter Sudbury News, got it all. And I just said, I'm going to do this. And one of my pet peeves is spin in the media, bias, and what kind of is going on today. But I'm not here to harp and be a sensationalist either. I'm not here to get everybody all scared and whatever, unless there's a reason to be. I'm going to point that out. But at the same time, I'm looking to have a conversation, something that we don't have, and we're getting less and less due to some of the legislations that are coming out these days that are trying to, we thought the internet was going to be this great thing that was going to bring everyone together and solve all the world's problems, because we can all get together and have a great conversation, one with another, sing Kumbaya, and carry us into the age of Aquarius. However, it looks like the opposite is happening with the internet. It was kind of like the Wild West, where people could do things like that in the past. And now it's starting to be regulated, and there's a huge push worldwide to do that. So they're using legal means to regulate the internet, regulate conversations, regulate speech, and all of these things. But for now, and so we have to be careful, and we have to really, really play within the sandbox. And why not? Why not, instead of harping on things and being overly zealous, why not like bring things back to a more calm conversation? But anyways, let's get into some of the local news, and you'll see basically how we do it here, starting off with some weather, which we've had some real hot weather lately, and we're looking to have that continue. Be right back. Yeah, so as you can see, I don't have my screen up and running yet because I've been ranting. I'm by myself today, and so anyone who's been with us for any period of time would know that lots is going on, and sometimes I even forget to hit the mute button, and I'm talking and no sound is coming out on your end, and thankfully you're able to let me know that there's no sound, and we're able to get through that together. Currently 19 degrees out there. And it's been really hot lately, as you know. And so I hope you've been able to find a way to keep cool. Humidity is 98% right now. Very, very humid. There's a heat warning from Environment Canada. And I think it's going to basically say the same thing it said for the last couple of days. So alerts going on in Sudbury and the vicinity. Hot and humid conditions are expected to continue today. Daytime temperatures are reaching near 30 degrees Celsius with humidex values near 36 expected. Cooler conditions forecasted, thankfully, for tomorrow or Thursday. Hot and humid air can also bring deteriorating air quality, as noted yesterday and the day before as well, as the index is approaching very high humidex index. The risk are greater for, obviously, people with vulnerabilities, including younger children, pregnant women, older adults, people with chronic illness, and so on. So keep cool. We're going to have a story on how the city is basically, there to help us with, keeping cool. And they're going to give us some resources and things like that to help us with that. So anyways, we'll talk about that, where you can go if you don't have a place yourself to keep cool. Today, cloudy, 40% chance of showers this morning. Showers beginning this morning. Risk of thunderstorm. Amount of rain possibly to accumulate is in the 10 to 20 millimeter range. Wind is south, 30 kilometers, gusting to 50, high of 29, with the temperature falling to 19 this afternoon. Humidex, though, will be 35. Incredible. The UV index, though, is low or moderate at 3. Tonight, showers, risk of thunderstorm this evening. And this risk of a thunderstorm this evening and after midnight. We did get some rain last night, thankfully, for our garden. I see that as I woke up this morning, all kinds of precipitation happened. So thank you. And, thank you, Mother Nature, for blessing us with that much needed water. And I know parts of the city yesterday, I know I was in Chelmsford, and did it ever come down? It came down like cats and dogs. Not so much in other parts of the city, so it was just basically sporadic where we got a lot of rain. I know there was a power outage in the south end yesterday, so I hope everybody was able to get their power restored in a timely manner. The Thursday forecast, cloudy, becoming a mix of sun and cloud in the afternoon. Wind southwest 20 kilometers, gusting to 40, coming from the northwest. Then late in the afternoon, the wind will pick up a little bit, actually, and 26 is the high. Humidex, it'll feel like 31, and the UV index tomorrow is actually still going to be quite high at 7. The long range, you got 26 degrees tomorrow. Sunny on Friday, 27. And my goodness, it's probably, if the humidity can keep down, now depending on what the humidity is going to be, it can be very hot, similar to what we've had all week. But if the humidity is low, that's going to be a wonderful day going into the weekend. But they are forecasting 60% chance of showers for Saturday and Sunday, unfortunately. So we'll see how it goes, though. The weather is the weather. It changes on a dime, as we can see, and that's that. So let's have some more weather-related news from our Facebook page. Here you go. Not sure what is happening there. It went back to that, which I'm not sure why. I had it all set up for us. Here we go. There we are. Thankfully, here we are. Let's get this thing on the road. Not sure where all my stories are. And now they came back, and here they are. And here's the story I wanted to get to. That the City of Greater Sudbury activates its hot weather response plan, thankfully. If you need a place to beat the heat, the City of Greater Sudbury says it has a number of places you can go. As we get rid of the advertising. The city released the information Tuesday in light of the extended heat warning issued by Environment Canada. In response to the municipality has activated its hot weather response plan. Options include, if you need to stay cool, we got some beaches locally, and they are Bell Park, Main Beach, Ramsey Lake, Caperel Beach, Centennial Park Beach and Vermilion River and Whitefish. You got Calmo Beach, otherwise known as Sandy Beach in Belcarron. Moonlight Beach, Ramsey Lake as well on the other side of it. Nepewan Beach, Nepewan Lake, Whitewater Lake Park, Whitewater Lake, Azilda. So if you've lived in Sudbury for quite some time, you're already familiar with those lakes, more than likely, but there's a little recap if you need to cool down. But however, there's going to be thunderstorms. I don't know if you want to be in the water if there's any lightning, but that's up to you. I know a lot of people actually prefer to swim during storms. Lifeguard supervision will be extended to 9 p.m. at Bell Park, Main Beach, and Moonlight Beach. Lifeguards will be on duty at the other 5 beaches until 7 p.m. Now, we've been talking about the library. We might even talk about it a little bit again today. Not sure, as they've green-lighted the new $100 million library going downtown. Greater Sudbury Public Library branches are available as a cool place to visit during the extended heat wave. The following branches will be open until 8 this evening. Note, however, that some in-branch services may not be available during extended hours. So they've extended the hours so that we can be cool, but they haven't extended all the library services for those extended hours. Main branch is downtown on Mackenzie, built in 1950, 70 years old. However, many people have said it looks quite good for its age. You can cool off there. Azilda, Gilles Palan Library, Caperel Library, Chelmsford, Dowling, Garson, Levac, Lively. So these are all our libraries we have. South End Library, New Sudbury Library. So here's all the libraries we have in the city of Sudbury. I don't want to mix a couple of themes together, but one of the things we've been talking about is that now that we got this new library, our other libraries in jeopardy of closing down, kind of like the city amalgamated and got rid of all of the outlining areas. Are we in danger of having, this main public library that we're building, jeopardize the closing of the other libraries that we just mentioned? But for now, for the heat wave, definitely, if you need to and you live in these outlining areas and you got to cool off and you got no other place to go, you can just hang out at the library for a while. They got air conditioning, so you can cool off there. Other branches will be open during their regular hours. For branch locations, hours of operation, you can go to sudburylibraries.ca. Also, you can go to community centers. Community centers, recreational swims are available at the following locations: Catchell Pool, 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. All ages 8:30 to 9:30, 16 and older. The Nickel District pool will be open 2 to 3 p.m. So very limited hours there. Maybe you want to check out, if that's something that makes sense to you during those hours to cool off in the pools. You got the arenas too that'll be open until the Jerry McCrory Countryside Arena or Sports Complex will be open until 11 p.m. tonight. McClelland Arena in Coppercliff open till 10, and the TM Davies Community Center in Lively will be open until 9. So our community arenas will be available to just kind of go in, hang out in the bleachers, whatever you got to do to stay cool. So they are open. You, as a taxpayer, don't think you're, can't go in these places. You paid for them, so don't worry about being worried about that. The city is putting that out as part of their emergency, heat. What do they call it exactly? just so I can get it right. The response plan, hot weather response plan. So according to their hot weather response plan, they've made these buildings available for you to cool off. So take advantage of it. Splash pads, the outdoor, those pads that the kids are all splashing around in. The city's 15 splash pads are open daily from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. If you need all of the locations, you can go to greatersudbury.ca/splash pads. So there you go. Residents requiring additional assistance, city and community outreach teams will provide support to homeless and vulnerable populations as part of their outreach program, including providing water and transportation services as needed. The outdoor drinking water fountain is open at Memorial Park, and a water refill station is available outside the Sudbury Community Arena. Seniors and residents who require assistance can call 311. That's also another thing you can do to discuss their individual situation. Public Health Sudbury and Districts offers information on beating the heat in apartment buildings, keeping your children and pets safe, and doing outdoor activities in heat and smog. For information on these topics and more, visit the phsd.ca. There you go. So there you have it. There's some ways to keep cool provided by our city. And thanks to them for doing that. We'll be right back after this with a really huge announcement from Sudbury Wolves Sports and Entertainment. You're going to want to hear this. There we have it. You've heard it here first or not. We got the media release yesterday, and we shared it right away. And it's basically garnered all kinds of likes and shares and comments, and amazing. And I know a lot of you have been commenting here. I'm going to get to your comments shortly. As soon as we're done with this announcement from the Sudbury Wolves Sports and Entertainment Group, dated July 19th, that's yesterday, 2022. So we'll look at this. You got Dario Zulich purchases video board to improve fan experience. Greater Sudbury, Ontario. Dario Zulich and the Sudbury Wolves Sports and Entertainment are very excited to announce a significant upgrade to the in-game experience. A $600,000 video board has been purchased by team owner Dario Zulich. Dario. The new centerpiece will be installed in time for the Sudbury Wolves next season, 2022-23. And this will it'll be one of the biggest improvements to happen to the arena in more than 70 years since it was originally built in 1951. Dario says, I believe more than anyone, that Sudbury deserves a world-class entertainment. Sudbury Wolves Sports and Entertainment Group is in the business of bringing joy and smiles to Sudburyans, and we are beyond excited to continue to elevate entertainment in the North. We're also working on finding a solution to improve the sound system prior to the start of the 50th anniversary season. We want to give Sudbury fans something to remember during the last few years of our lease. So this is some specs of the board. If you haven't seen it, you go to our Facebook page, and we have the picture there for you. It's kind of nice looking. It's very modern. It looks like, any other modern board in the OHL, at least. And it's a funny thing. This is a funny thing about this whole story. So yesterday, Billy and I, if you're watching, I went on a rant about, we were talking about the library, that they green-lighted that and they kiboshed the KED, and now we got this old arena, and it's going to be right beside this brand new library, taking up the only parking we have pretty much for the old arena. And we have this old Jumbotron, which isn't even a Jumbotron. It's a screen, you can't even read it. It's a laughable thing for anybody visiting the arena who has seen any modern arena or around the OHL. It went on and on about it. Anyways, it's funny, when I was at work, the email came in and said that they purchased a new Jumbotron, And some of the people said, hey, they've been listening to your podcast. But there's no way, and I'm just going to say this publicly, I would never claim that in a million years because of everything that goes into buying this. This wasn't a last minute thing just from listening to our show yesterday, obviously. So more big news. They're pleased to announce that Desjardins will be they've signed a multi-year sponsorship agreement with them and between them, the Sudbury Wolves and the Five. And this will be exclusive to the naming rights of the board. Sudbury Wolves are in a constant state of innovation to improve guest experiences. As a community partner, we are thrilled to be playing a part in enhancing the game day experience for all guests to enjoy, said Jose Perzo, the regional vice president. The Sudbury Northern Desjardins Ontario Credit Union. Desjardins has been a strong community partner of the Wolves for more than 14 years, and SWSC is very pleased to continue our relationship with their tremendous team, added Zulich. So the new video board will be installed in time for this upcoming season. The September 30th home opener, will be against the Barrie Colts. Single game tickets will go on sale for preseason and regular season games, or the regular season in early September. Sudbury 5 ticket information will also be announced in the coming weeks. For more information, you can visit SudburyWolves.com or the5.ca. So there you have it. There's a little bit of sports for you, and we'll be back with our headlines right after this and some of your comments. All right, so here we are. Lots to talk about today. Let's see let's get into some of your comments here. You got Jerome piping in. Love the program. Diversity of CKLU. Truly appreciate efforts bringing Sudbury news to social media. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Jerome, for being here every day. You are definitely a part of the show. You have a lot of great information that you share. Yeah, okay. Another thing on the whole weather thing, right? A little tip, and this is why I appreciate your comments. So medications and diet can affect our ability to handle environmental stressors as well, including a huge heat wave like we've been experiencing. So take that into consideration as well. Maybe your medication says avoid going out in hot weather or avoid the heat or whatever have you. Could involve some of those things in your things to watch out for, side effects, if you will, from your medication or whatever. Good morning, Lise. Thanks for joining us again. Much appreciated. So let's get into some of these stories we're going to be covering this morning. I made a little cheat sheet for myself as well on this just scrap piece of paper, something to keep me in line, because sometimes I do the show and then afterwards I'm like, oh, I didn't get to that story I really wanted to get to. So let me just refer to that. It looks like we got everything that we need to so far. Oh yeah, that's the story we're going to be starting with. Based on Sudbury, we just shared the announcement, as part of Sudbury Sports. Here's a headline from CTV. The Sudbury neighborhood group to pay for the KED cord costs, the ones that gave them a little bit of a hard time for building it where they did. It was the Sudbury neighborhood group that has been fighting to block the Kingsway Entertainment District development is to pay the City of Sudbury court costs. That's just one of the things that you have to watch out for. Oh, we're going to get a video here. So as that's going, maybe we'll just wait for this to go by and we'll play the video for you, because that's what we can do on the show. We can play videos. We can scroll down social media, websites. We can do all kinds of things and control it at the same time on the fly, which is very interesting. And we're getting some extra. Oh, did I pause that? You're kidding. I did. So it's going to be a little extra time. So we get some advertisements free of charge for local advertisers for CTV, then they're also going to advertise here for y'all. So not a problem there. They're going to cover, basically what's happened with the KED and the court costs. And that's the thing. If you ever fight the city, beware that you could take on their court costs. So here we go.
Says a neighborhood group in Sudbury that went to court trying to block the building of the Kingsway Entertainment District now must pay court costs of $37,000. The judge saying the case was entirely without merit. The Minnow Lake Restoration Group brought the case against the city of Greater Sudbury, appealing council's original decision to go ahead with the project. The group argued council's procedure was unfair and illegal. The judge dismissed the case, saying the appeal was primarily an attempt to delay the project. Last week, councillors did vote to end the city's involvement in the KED project due to ballooning costs.
So, ouch for them. So they were fighting it, and now the judge says it was unfounded. You were just trying to block it. You weren't playing nice in the sandbox. This is just my take on it. And now they got to pay the court costs of the city. The city, too, because they were fighting the city. So they got to pay all the court costs. I know. Oh, my goodness. I hope not. Miles is saying that the city's court costs are in about $770,000. I hope they don't have to pay that much. My goodness. But again, this is what happens in these types of scenarios when you have a huge project like that and you want to take it on. One of the things, and good morning, Julia. Hope you're having a great morning. Thanks for chiming in. Hope you're having a great day. And so, Miles, that's what you read. Perfect. It's interesting how CTV didn't mention that, right? So that was one of our comments earlier about reporting and things like that, and hoping that we weren't going to be like other outlets out there. And no, we are not. We're here to take the news that's going on and unpack it and talk about it and try and get to the bottom of things. Yeah, exactly. Reba says that should cover half of the KED costs. Exactly. And anyways, so if that's the cost, my goodness. But again, these are the things that are involved with, these huge projects. And if you want to go against somebody legally, like heaven forbid you get caught in some of these potholes, and your tire explodes like happened to me. When I was talking about that rare trip that I took with my family before starting Sudbury Sports Talk, just the day before going down there, I was coming on to the Nickel, the bypass, just off Lawrence Street there, and hit a pothole, and my tire exploded. Anyways, I called the city. I said, I just hit a pothole that shouldn't, cause my tire to explode and bend my rim. I mean, I'm just going the speed limit. And I mean, what do you do in this case? Anyways, so he put me on hold. I was on hold for an hour, and then that was it. I said, I can't be on hold all day. And I never pursued it any further than that. So I think, if I was to do something this big, was to take the city on in court. So that's what happens. Now, whether or not it was founded or not, and it was political, and this group was just trying to stop. It was a political move to stop the KED from happening, which does happen. Not sure. So you never know. It could be karma, or it's a lesson nonetheless. If you are going to take on the city. I also heard about a lady who had a tragic car accident or something, and she had a lot of medical. Whether or not she was paralyzed, I don't know. I thought it was between Azilda and Chelmsford, but I think it took 20 years for her to get a settlement from the city. A lot of years, that's a lot of painstaking, painful, going through physical pain and mental pain trying to fight the city. And so that's kind of what happens if you do take them on. She did win, but it took 20 years to win. Anyways, a lot of comments coming in. Let's see if I can Let's see if I can get to some of them here. 4 judges in court. 4 judges ruled in a court challenge to pay partial. Okay, cool. I was kind of unprepared. I thought the CTV story would kind of handle a lot of the particulars, but they didn't. They just said they had to pay. Reba, her bike was destroyed in a 2-year span. It was maintained. It was $1,800 bike. The judge's ruling. Can a judge's ruling be challenged? I think so. I think everything can be appealed, as far as I know. Good luck again, though, right? If you're taking on the city, the judges live in the city. They go to all the same fundraisers together. They belong to the same organizations. Lions Club, Kiwanis Club. I'm not pointing those clubs out in particular, but they go to the same things. They know each other, and so that's what you have in a community like this. So good luck with that. It is what it is. Reba also, yeah. Being on the road is like off-roading in Sudbury for sure. That's my joke I have when NASA came here back in the 60s to see what it was like to drive on the moon. They drove on our roads because it was very much like the surface of the moon with all the craters, basically. Now, that's obviously a joke because they did go to drive on our real craters made by real asteroids off-road. But it's like driving on craters when you're driving on our roads. So Sudbury News article on KED appeals court challenge was very detailed. Oh, cool. Okay. Well, we need to get some more information on that, and hopefully tomorrow we can have more on that. But let's look at some of the other stories we're covering, because there are some juicy ones that I hope I can get to, because we're already, time is just getting out of hand here. So Justin Trudeau, not always making local news, but he was here the other day with Jane Goodall, scientist who has a long history, and a lot of her work was focused on chimpanzees, was in Sudbury as well, and so we covered that story. But here's a little bit of Trudeau, one of the only Western leaders to mandate masks on trains, spotted maskless on a train. So that's interesting. Hope to get into that a little bit. Joe Rogan made some comments about him the other day on his podcast, and hope to get to that if we have enough time. That'll be really interesting. I have a video, and I was able to bleep out the words that he used, the choice words that I didn't think were appropriate for morning talk or morning radio. But anyways, hopefully we get to that. We covered the KED and the costs, covered the city and the hot weather response plan. So always keep cash on hand, experts say, after massive Rogers outage. If you didn't already know that, you should know it now. You should always have cash on hand. Keep it in a safe place. Don't tell a lot of people where it is. So there's some other tips for you. But I would definitely say, how many of you got caught at the gas stations or you're just at the grocery store or just doing whatever you were doing and just, debit. And they're like, no, it doesn't work today. So definitely keep prepared for that. But that's on the Sudbury Star. You can read that. The Greater City of Sudbury Police, they just kicked off a really cool youth program at Kiwi Park. It's an 8-week program. Participants engage in various water-based activities such as canoeing. Wow, my eyesight's getting really bad. Kayaking, paddling, fishing, swimming, and some land activities such as scavenger hunts and geocaching. While getting to know Greater Sudbury police officers and staff, the youth learn to use proper paddling techniques and water safety, all while building and learning self-confidence. They thank Kiwi Park for funding this program, as well as the Chiefs Youth Initiative Fund and Greater Sudbury Police Services Board and the Canadian Tire Jumpstart. So you can read all about that as well as, you can read about it. Where is that story? That's on right on Greater Sudbury Police's Facebook page. That's where I got that from. And we talked about this. Here's a picture of that awesome Jumbotron that's coming to the Sudbury Community Arena. And we'll be able to actually see what's on there. And really cool story here about we talked about the Copper Cliff reunion the other day. And the Copper Cliff high school jacket that was lost 30 years ago made its way home. Jane McMaster said she lost her brother's football jacket at a previous Copper Cliff High School reunion in 1990, but it made its way back by serendipity. She's being reunited with the jacket after the 2022 reunion. Here's a picture of it here. And thanks to a reunion of the alumni held this past weekend and a bit of serendipity, the family is of a now deceased former student at the defunct high school is being reunited with a long lost memento. It all started in 1990 at a previous reunion at the Copper Cliff High School reunion for the alumni. Jane McMaster said she had attended the reunion with her young family wearing the football jacket owned by her brother, John, who also attended the school. John couldn't make it to that reunion, and he was living in Hong Kong at the time. My brother was my hero forever and ever, and I wore his jacket, Jane said in a phone conversation with Sudbury.com. The 1990 reunion was held on the school grounds of the school, which has occupied the former building since the high school's 1980 closure. It's now the public school. McMaster said she thinks that at some point she put the jacket down at the dance, and then when I went back to get it, it wasn't there. She said, adding, she looked high and low in the whole park. It was just devastating when I couldn't find the jacket. Another Copper Cliff High School reunion just took place this past weekend. It was originally supposed to happen in 2020, but it was postponed due to the pandemic, obviously. When Jane heard another reunion was happening, she put a call out to the organizers and other alumni, asking if anyone might have found the jacket in 1990 and by some chance kept it safe all these years. Meanwhile, it turns out that John McMaster's jacket was found in 1990 by John Flynn, another John, who was on the cleanup crew after the reunion. John Flynn had picked it up off the rather muddy ground and packed it away in a suitcase. And here's where the serendipity comes in. John Flynn was recently looking for old photos in his crawl space for his recent 50th wedding anniversary and came across McMaster's jacket in a suitcase. He brought the coat to the attention of his sister, Diane Hebert, who sits on the CCHS reunion organizing committee. Seeing the coat made the reunion organizers wonder if it was in fact John McMaster's long-lost football jacket. Hebert and fellow organizer Kim Canerva found some old yearbook photos, and zooming in on the group shot were able to confirm that it was indeed the same coat. I thought, oh my gosh, what if I hadn't gone in to look at my photo album, Hebert said, and nobody would have ever found it, ever. And while McMaster, who lives in North Bay area, wasn't able to attend the reunion, the jacket has made its way back by way of another alums to her. And anyways, what an awesome story that is. You don't get an awesome story every day like that. And so there you have it. The Copper Cliff football jacket makes its way back after being lost from the last reunion to its rightful owner. Headline here, teacher guilty of abusive behavior toward students gets reprimanded. So here you go. Full story, Sudbury.com. Sudbury teacher guilty of abusive behavior towards students formerly employed by the Sudbury Catholic School Board, Ontario Colleges of Teachers suspends John Doyon certificate of qualification for 4 months. A teacher formerly employed by the Catholic School Board of Sudbury being found guilty of professional misconduct by the Ontario College of Teachers as of July. At the July 14th hearing, John Patrick Joseph Doyon, his certificate of qualification and registration was suspended for 4 months effective July 29th. And he was issued a reprimand by the Ontario College of Teachers. The regulatory body also said on its website that Doyon's certificate of qualification and registration will be subject to terms, conditions, and limitations, although it did not state what those measures were. In spite of those measures, the Ontario College of Teachers still lists Doyon's status with the college as being in good standing. Doyon is listed by the Ontario College of Teachers as having received his education diploma at the University of Toronto in 2007. He received a number of teaching qualifications in technological education. The Ontario College of Teachers did not state on its website what where he taught, but in web postings by the Sudbury Catholic District School Board show that he taught at the St. Benedict Catholic School Board or secondary school in 2018, and he was employed by the Catholic School Board in 2020. He appeared on the Sunshine List, and that's where we were able to get some of that information. They reached out to the Catholic School Board and to see if he was still employed with the board, but they did not respond other than with a brief written response, which said the individual is no longer an employee of the Sudbury Catholic Schools. In a statement, it also said, as this is a personal matter, it's inappropriate for us to provide further comment. So documentation associated with Doyon's hearing before the Ontario College of Teachers alleged he abused his students verbally, physically, and psychologically or emotionally. It also alleges that he committed acts that have been having regard to all of the circumstances would reasonably be regarded by members as disgraceful, dishonorable, and unprofessional. So, unbecoming a member. The documentation also lays out some of the allegations. Here they are. He allegedly made inappropriate physical contact with a student or students, including flicking or pulling students' ears, hitting students' hands with keys, poking students with a stick, and kicking a student's foot. He allegedly made inappropriate comments, including, "Next time you knock on that door, I'll knock your head into it," stating he would break their arms if they were not paying attention, stating he would tape their mouths shut, referring to students as dumb, morons, dumbasses, idiots, losers, or stupid. Or words that in that effect referring to female student as cute, or things like that. He also allegedly asked a student in front of his peers if he had lost his way to the autism spectrum disorder class, and told a student that a female student was out of his league and was never going to get with her, or words to that effect. He also allegedly referred to students as fat and referred to students as immature. So there you have it. More can be found on the story, Sudbury.com, if you want to find that. I know the comments you could probably have of teachers that you had growing up. I know with me, and you might be the same, is that I had a teacher one time. I still have a chip in my tooth. The teacher thought I was laughing while I was taking a drink of water, laughing at him or whatever, and hit the back of my head pretty hard and knocked my tooth into the fountain and chipped my tooth. And he would also poke me in the same spot right about here over and over, as he would say, "You do not have the right to go to the bathroom." Anyways, it began to hurt after about the third time. He was actually Tony and Phil Esposito's cousin, so looked up to him for that reason, loving hockey. But he was pretty abusive he would have similar. Like I thought this was this must be the same teacher. Same comments, but teachers used to be like that. Remember the strap? We used to get the strap, things like that. So times have changed, and this no longer is acceptable, as we all know, and it shouldn't have been acceptable even in the first place, but it was for some reason back in the day. So hopefully they can just deal with the situation and make sense of it, and the proper repercussions happen for behavior like that. Now, as time is getting on, and I know I wanted to get to just to see what other stories we have covering gas prices, they're still high. But let's check in with Gas Buddy real quick here to see if we can get some of the cheapest gas in town. You're going to see cheapest gas in Chelmsford at the Esso at 192.9. It just happens to be the gas station I gas up at. So thank you for being the cheapest gas in town. Also Chelmsford Canadian Tire, Pioneer, Kingsway 193.6, Esso on the Kingsway 193.9. And back to Chelmsford. Chelmsford in the LaSalle, here you go, 193.9. So then you start going up 194s for the rest of them, and so on and so forth. So there's your gas in town. So let's get to Prime Minister Justin Trudeau if we have time. Got a couple minutes on this. He was found on a train, maskless, even though he is the only one in the Western world has mandated on federal trains that we still have to wear our masks. Despite heading one of the Western governments, in spite heading one of the only Western governments to still mandate face masks on rail transport, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau was conspicuously maskless, and he shook hands during a Monday photo op in the Okanagan, BC steam train. Prime Minister was not breaking any laws. The Kettle Valley Stream Railway is a heritage railroad not bound by federal transport regulations. However, the visit led to cries of hypocrisy nonetheless, as COVID presumably can spread just as easily on tourist trains as abroad on via rail trains. A little bit of common sense there by the, I guess let's see if the video will play.
Great to see you. Great to see you guys. Of course, of course.
There you go. So there's just the evidence, I guess, video if we needed to see that. As Transport Canada warned just last month, passengers can be ejected from a train and even get hit with a $5,000 fine if they're caught maskless during the journey or even within a station during a stop. This is a particularly onerous requirement on some of the Via Rail's long cross-country routes. A trip from Vancouver to Toronto takes a minimum of 4 days and 4 nights, as Via Rail routes in official warnings to its passengers. The only exception is, quote, temporarily when eating or drinking. So there you have it. Justin Trudeau on a train, maskless, after mandating anyone on the trains that are federally funded and mandated to not be maskless. Anyways, here you have it. He was on Joe Rogan, the other day, talked about him and his thoughts about him, and let's just have a little look at that. Here's another news outlet, though, that are covering it. Maybe they need the volume on. Maybe the volume helps. How about that? A little bit of volume never hurt.
Had this to say recently about Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Let's listen.
Canada's communist.
Canada's crazy.
They're They got to get rid of that guy.
How much time does he have? I feel like he's been prime minister for a while. Am I wrong?
I don't know. I don't know how their system works up there. I have zero understanding of their system.
Yeah?
I never looked into it at all. I just liked him. I liked him before the pandemic.
Trudeau?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, he's a handsome guy.
Yeah.
Seems sweet.
Yeah.
You know, it's like good looking guy, confident, good talker.
Yeah.
And then during the pandemic, I'm like, oh, you're a dictator.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't like criticism. You're trying to shut down criticism by saying that all your critics are misogynists and racists.
Yeah.
You hear he said that about the trucking people, the truckers?
He called them.
Called them all misogynists and racists.
Oof.
Yeah, he's gross. He's a sketchy guy.
Yeah.
And he's got some shaky deals. I would like to see, like, where the money is coming from. Like, why do you want everybody to get injected every 4 months? They don't need that anymore. Like, what are we doing? What are you doing? You can't even get into Canada unless you're vaccinated.
Can't get in?
No. Make sure that's true. Because someone just told me, Whitney just told me, she had to show her vaccination card to get into Canada.
That seems.
It's a little.
Like it adds up
It's old.
Yeah.
Like, it's 2022. It's not 2019.
You know where it still feels, because I think things sway there so aggressively when something happens, where it feels like, you're like, wait, what time is it right now? Is in New York. I was just in New York.
Oh, yeah.
Everywhere. Everyone was masked up everywhere. I was like, what's going on? Why is everyone still masked up?
Okay, well, they're going to give their commentary on it, but I don't think we need particularly their take on it. We're able to kind of glean our own, our own comments and our own thoughts about it. I know, Miles, you chimed in. I know, LOL, obviously. It is a little bit funny, and no, I think he admitted that he's not a expert on Canadian politics. I don't think Canadians are an expert on Canadian politics, by the way. When Stephen Harper was the Prime Minister, there was a lot of us who didn't even know the name of our own Prime Minister. Similar to the United States, you know how we used to make fun of them that they didn't know a lot of things. I don't like Trudeau either, but don't throw out accusations of communism. Well, actually, when you do understand forms of government, we are going very strong towards that. And a lot of the measures that he took were very of that that type of governing. When you really do understand it, that's something I do have a good knowledge about, not like maybe Joe Rogan. I do live in Canada. I do understand how the parliamentary system works. They were trying to teach me in school many falsehoods about how our parliamentary system worked. They said the Queen no longer has any authority over Canada whatsoever. And I said, well, can you tell me who the Governor General is and what their role is in Canada then? And right away they said, we don't have time. We got to move on. So anyways, just simply, so there's a little bit of what's going on internationally in terms of their views of our Prime Minister. He's caught on a train not wearing a mask after making mask mandate for federal trains. Anyways, that's it. That's all I got to say. I'm not putting a spin one way or the other. And you can decide and make your own conclusions, basically. So thanks for joining us today. And thanks for your comments. We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow. Stay tuned now for Earshot Daily on CKLU. But all the Facebook and YouTube watchers, we'll see you same time, same place tomorrow. Have a good one. Stay cool. Stay dry. We'll see you tomorrow. Ciao.
This is Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.